Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you that he was ambitious. If it was so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously hath Caesar answered it. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honourable man, so they all honourable men, come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honourable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honourable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal I thrice did offer him a princely crown, which thrice he did refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure, he is an honourable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke. But here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? Oh, judgment thou fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me.
My glass will show me how my beauties wear, my dial how my precious minutes waste. These vacant leaves my mind's imprint will bear, and of this book, this learning may I taste. The wrinkles which my glass will truly show of mouthed graves will give me memory. I, by my dial's shady stealth, shall know time's thievish progress to eternity. Look, what my memory cannot contain, I'll commit to these waste blanks, and I shall find those children nurse delivered of my brain, to take new acquaintance of my mind. These offices, so oft as I wilt look, shall profit me, and so enrich my book.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them. To die. To sleep, no more. And by sleep to say we end the heartache, and the thousand natural shocks the flesh is heir to. It is a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep. To sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For In that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. And there's the respect amidst calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but the dread of something after death, undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others we know not of. And thus, conscience doth make cowards of us all. And thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with a pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment with this regard, their currents turn awry and lose the name of action.
Now, entertain conjecture of a time when creeping stillness and the pouring dark fills the wide vessel of the universe. From camp to camp, through the foul womb of night, the hum of either army stilly sounds, that the fixed sentinels almost receive the secret whispers of each other's watch. Fire answers fire, and through their paly flames, each battle sees the other's umbered face. Steed threatens steed, in high and boastful neighs, piercing the night's dull ear. And from the tents, the armourers accomplishing the knights, with busy hammers closing rivets up, give dreadful note of preparation. The country cocks do crow, the clocks do toll, and the third hour of drowsy morning named. Proud of their numbers and secure in soul, the confident and over-lusty French do the low-rated English play at dice, and chide the triple tardy-gated knight, who like a foul and ugly witch doth limp so tediously away. The poor, condemned English, who like sacrifices by their watchful fires, sit patiently and inly ruminate the morning's danger, and their gesture sad, investing lank lean cheeks and war-worn coats, presenteth them unto the morn so many horrid ghosts. But now, who will behold the royal captain of this ruined band, walking from watch to watch, from tent to tent? Let him cry praise and glory on his head. For forth he goes, and visits all his host, bids them good morrow with a modest smile, and calls them brothers, friends, countrymen. And on his face there is no note how dread an army hath enrounded him, nor does he dedicate one jot of colour to the weary and all-watched night, but freshly looks, and overbears a taint with cheerful semblance and sweet majesty, that every wretch, pining and pale before, beholding him, takes comfort from his looks, a largesse universal like the sun, a little touch of Harry in the night. But now our scene must to the battle fly, where, oh for pity, we will much disgrace with 4 or 5 most vile and ragged foils, right ill disposed in brawl ridiculous, the name of Agincourt. Yet, sit and see, minding true things, by what their mockeries be.
My mistress with a monster is in love. Near to her close and consecrated bower, while she was in her dull and sleeping hour, a crew of patches, Rude mechanicals that work for bread upon Athenian stalls were met together to rehearse a play, intended for great Theseus' nuptial day. And the shallowest thick skin of that barren sort, who Pyramus presented in their sport, forsook his scene, and entered into a break, when I did he at this advantage take, an ass's knoll fixed I upon his head. Anon his Thisbe must be answered, and forth my mimic comes. When they him spy as wild geese that the creeping fowler eye, or russet-pated choughs, many in sort, rising and cawing at the gun's report, sever themselves, and madly sweep the sky. So at his sight, away his fellows fly. And at our stamp, here o'er and o'er one falls, he murder cries, and help from Athens calls. Their sense thus weak, lost with their fears thus strong, made senseless things begin to do them wrong. For briars and thorns their apparel snatch, some sleeves and some hats, from yielders all things catch. I led them on in this distracted fear, and left sweet Pyramus translated there. For in that moment, so it came to pass, Titania waked, and straightway loved an ass.